and still the undefeated WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Tyson Fury. The trilogy hasn't come to a conclusive end, because some ends are not conclusive. They started in 2018, it all started, and it was a split draw, they said. But the second meeting ended in controversy, even when Tyson did knock out Wilder to win the title. But this time around, after the court interceded to say, honor your agreement for that clause in that particular contract, we all went to Las Vegas. And in Vegas, they said it's not everything you see in Vegas that you see. But we saw that, and the world need to know that in Vegas, it was Tyson that finally emerged top after a dramatic fight. I tell you, it was, some people said, this is not fight, this is war. It was war. It was war. It was give and take. There were no defenses. It is all there. The grudges, the accusations, everything, you know. Say, we are settling the score this night. 5 knockdowns, I tell you this. And either way, it was the odd one that became the decider, which means Tyson Fury himself went down twice. In the 4th round, he went down twice. After knocking down Wilder in the 3rd round. And then in the final round, I tell you, you can't survive that. That was how it happened. So, you know, but the undercard also had a Nigerian. And I tell you, it was not what we expected. Something else happened. And that was how Ife, in terms of going 16-0, you know, after winning his first 15 fights, went 15-1. We shall look at that. But I tell you, today is loaded, because today will be the final of the European you know, they have their Nations Cup, the European Cup. They have, you know, all the creations that are coming out. And this time around, at the very first national won by Portugal. Today, right there at the San Siro, the home of the Milans. Let's see whether it will be France or it will be Spain. So who takes that home? You know, and the Formula One is up there. 2 points, just 2 points separates the 7-time champion with the man who says, this year might be my 1st year. Max Verstappen. They've been knocking themselves off the track on and off. But this time around, it is just 2 points. And then himself, Hamilton, is, you know, he's taking a penalty grid, so he's starting 11th. Of course, he won. He was supposed to be on pole. He did that yesterday, but they said, no way. You upgraded your engine, so go and debate. Definitely, the faster engine that they've got might count for something. The Super Eagles, yes, your Super Eagles, my Super Eagles, our Super Eagles. What do you talk about them? Sometimes you just go, when you take, I think it was in 86 or so, was it 86, that the Minister of Sport said qualifying for the Nations Cup was our birthright. we were told by the Angola that it is not your birthright. You can't always go there. You can't go to Egypt and come back and return to Egypt. So we couldn't go there. So this time around, you know, we were cruising. We thought coming back to Lagos, it was our home. And then they came in here. I would say CAR. What does it mean? Central African Republic. I've never beaten us before, whatever it is. But they came and they showed us that, yes, we are a beatable team. Today, we will be the reverse fixture of that match. And then we are hoping to get our pound of flesh, and I hope that will assuage our feelings. That will make Nigeria say, okay, fine, we are still there, because we still top with the group, even if we are the same 6 points. We have goals difference that is putting us up there. So, but today, in a neutral ground in Yaoundé, probably we may emerge top in a neutral ground. We may emerge top in a neutral ground. In England, we've seen them come, and when they come, they kind of, you know, they changed it, you know, the landscape. Chelsea came with with Roman, and Roman said that was in 2004, and he turned the whole place upside down. Since then, the EPL has not been the same again. Then the citizens said, look, we've been at the shadows of United in the city of Manchester, and then they pumped in the money. And when the money came in, I tell you, City became not just a force to be reckoned with, just like Chelsea in England, but also in Europe. But right now, what is happening in England is unheard of, because it's like a tsunami, the fund that the owners of Newcastle has. And I tell you, by this time next year, quote me, Newcastle will have more fans than most of those national teams in England, because they follow the money. Yeah, miss, yeah. Some farms have told me that they want to start buying Newcastle, because they can now have with 320 billion pounds. They can afford to buy Mbappe, to buy Haaland, to buy whoever that is buyable. And the part owner, the lady, she said, we want to win the league within the next 5-10 years. If you tell me 5-10 years, if you 2-3 years, just wait, we shall be there.
Good afternoon, viewers. Good afternoon, Ken. Like you said, football has gotten to a point now where you need to make a lot of investment. Mike Ashley has been in charge, the owner of Sport Direct, has been in charge of Newcastle for the past 14 years.
Yeah.
It has come with a trophy drought. The fans are not happy. Recall that earlier on in the year, there were plans for some consortium to take it over, but that didn't work. Okay. But now, the Saudi consortium has taken over Newcastle. They will be title contenders. They have the money to spend. And they are already making their intentions known. They're already been linked with strikers like Mario Cardi of PSG. They're letting us know that by next week Sunday, in their match against Tottenham, their current coach, Steve Bruce, might not be in charge, as they're looking for a coach with a Premier League experience. Okay,
we shall look at that, but now let's see, because standing by to join us is Tunde Koiki. Tunde needs no introduction, because he's part of this room, he's part of here. But then Channel Sport on Sunday says, let's go and meet him. If you need an expert who will talk about, boxing and all the fights in Africa, who else do you meet than Tunde? He wasn't smiling too much. We spoke earlier yesterday, but then after what happened, those are just expectations. Tunde, how are you?
I'm very good, Ken. Good morning. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to the fans.
I don't know where I want to start from, because we are going to look at three fights, 2 fought and another possible one. But let's start with the big one. Did it come to you as a surprise, or that this was how it was going to end? Of course, the fight itself, all dramatic, but let us start with the fight. I don't want to talk about the end. What do you make of what happened in Vegas yesterday between Tyson and Wilder?
Well, I think it's very clear that Tyson Fury is not human. For the very simple reason that it takes a very special man or an inhuman person to survive 2 vicious knockdowns that he did in the same round and go on to not only dominate every other round after that, but to win in such an explosive fashion. He had a fantastic engine. His punches were accurate and consistent. His shot selection was great as well. His footwork was fabulous. It was a boxing masterclass from a man at the top of his game. And he's always said it very clearly that no man born of a woman can beat him. And looking at that performance last night, or is it early this morning, it's a very hard fact to argue with.
No man born of woman can beat him. The man kept quoting. He's quoting Caesar. And then, he also quoted Muhammad Ali. He said, don't you ever underrate me. Remember before the rumble in the jumble? That was Muhammad Ali's line. Which way now? Which way for Wilder? But before that, still in the Wilder's camp, how do I say it? The decision to take to change his team and take on a coach on Malik Scott, a man he has actually beaten as a boxer, as his coach. Does that make any sense, or is it? Do we link that to some of what the outcome of this fight became?
I think if Deontay Wilder had Jose Mourinho, Alex Ferguson, and probably the best boxing coaches in the world coaching him, I think he'd still have lost. It was just that kind of fight. When a man is much better than you, you can bring a bazooka into the ring, it will still be ineffective. And Tyson Fury showed that he had the ability, the know-how to neutralize anything and everything that Deontay Wilder and Malik Scott could come up with, and that was exactly what happened. Scott wasn't the game plan by Scott wasn't bad. I like the way that Deontay Wilder started, but he showed a lack of stamina. At some point, he just completely gassed out.
Yeah.
Completely gassed out. And that began to affect him. I also suspect he might have injured himself in the fight because he wasn't unloading the right hand as much as he should have. Could have been a broken hand, could have been a torn bicep or tricep or rotator cuff. I'm not sure, but it was just that kind of a night where there was no matter. Look, if Deontay Wilder came into that ring with a gun and a machete, I still think that Tyson Fury would have beaten him. It was just that kind of a night. A man who was superior to him, a man who had his number, and a man who just wanted to prove a point. And it's very difficult to overcome those three strikes against you.
Okay, but then looking at Tyson Fury, he doesn't look that invisible. In the trilogy now, he's been knocked down about 4 times. Do you think that because that knockdown in the 4th round, he's knocked down twice. They were not very clean shots. Do you think he would have taken those shots if they were clean shots and he would have stood up?
Ken, you know what they say? He who is down need first no fall. That is one. And then the other one about it's not about how you get knocked down in life, it's about how you get up. And this man has shown 3 times very clearly that he can take the best shots in the business and he can get up and still dominate. I mean, Deontay Wilder has the phenomenal knockout ratio. 98% of his fights have ended in a knockout win for him. He has won 41 of his 42 fights by a knockout. His 42 wins by a knockout. That's a phenomenal ratio. Even if you are knocking over part-time taxi drivers or shoemakers or carpenters, believe me, it still takes a lot of power to be able to knock down a fully grown heavyweight with just 1 punch. And Tyson Fury got knocked down twice in 3 fights. And I disagree with you when you say that those were not clean shots. Those were clean, good shots that hit him in proper places. A lesser man would never have gotten off from any of those shots, not to talk of 3. So it's testament to just how durable Tyson Fury is and just how masterful he is.
Okay, and then okay, we'll still come back and end with Tyson Fury. But before then, in the undercard, on one of the undercards, we had Ife Ajagba, 15-0, faced another undefeated, 18-0 in Frank Sanchez. I saw Ife 12 rounds, pursue somebody, and couldn't throw them. I don't know what it was. What was? I mean, going into that fight, it was his punches. In fact, he even said, he quoted, because he has sparred with Tyson Fury, that he hits harder than Tyson Fury. What happened? Did he keep those punches somewhere when they got into the ring? But those are my opinion, because it is your opinion we want to hear. You are the expert here. What really happened in that fight where Ife suffered his first ever professional loss?
Well, a lot of things actually happened in that ring, but I want to coalesce it into 2. One, Ife Ajagba shows that he's very limited. He showed that he's still what a lot of people regard as a one-trick pony. That means he's only relying on that big one heavy shot to end the fight. Apart from that, he doesn't bring anything else to the party. No footwork, no effective jabs. No movement. And for a man with the joint longest reach in the heavyweight division, he has 85-inch reach, which is the same reach that Tyson Fury has. You would expect that man would probably have jabbed the Cuban into submission. I would have expected a game plan similar to what Joe Joyce implemented against Daniel Dubois. Some ramrod, stiff, effective jabbing. But this man was just looking to jab sporadically. He didn't double up on the jab, didn't triple up on the jab, wasn't busy enough. And that was exactly what was the problem. He was a very limited fighter who fought a game plan directly into the hands of the opponent. The second thing that happened in that ring was the fact that Frank Sanchez is a master at this craft. Absolutely brilliant boxer. It was a game plan that was devised by the legendary Eddie Reynoso, who is also a 2-time trainer of the year, who's also the trainer of Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah.
That plan was devised by Eddie Reynoso, but it was implemented flawlessly by Frank Sanchez. A lot of people slept on Sanchez because they just thought they did it. He wasn't one of the big names in quotes. But this is a man who has over 200 amateur fights, who also defeated a legendary fighter like Elisandri Savon, who is the nephew of the legendary Frank Savon.
Yeah.
Felix Savon. And he defeated him clearly. After that, he turned pro. And he was just a master of his movement, his ring IQ, the traps he was setting. And he was too much. It was a case of a PhD student and a primary school student who are given the same question to answer. And Frank Sanchez answered it in a blistering, stunning fashion. Unanimous decision on all cards by the referee. He won every single round, and that takes some doing. You can only do that if you are a complete master of your craft, and you are one of the best boxers in the business. I think this man is the problem in the heavyweight division with the display that he showed. Going forward, a lot of people will be very, very wary about taking on Frank Sanchez. It's interesting to note that he was the one who specifically called out Efe Ajagba. That got Ajagba furious because he was wondering why. Look, I'm one of the baddest men in this division. My knockouts, are the highlight reel of every heavyweight contest. I still have the record for the fastest win in the heavyweight division, but you're calling me out. But it was strategic. It was strategic because he wanted to make a statement. If you can beat a big power puncher, if you can dismantle a big power puncher like Efe Ajagba, you put everyone on notice. You also rocket up the rankings in all the in all the sanctioning bodies, and you enter the conversation very quickly for a heavyweight title shot very soon.
I think you summed that up. So let's move on to the other one. You weren't too popular with some of us when you called the Usyk fight. You weren't too popular because you saw that fight before. Some of us were saying, how many cruiserweights? Probably about only 2 cruiserweights have left moved up and achieved any success. We thought it was going to last a few rounds, but you said, look, this man has, just like you're talking about Frank Sanchez now, this man has over 350 amateur fights. This guy is a boxer. You talked about Usyk. You saw that fight and you called it rightly, and it came to pass the way you called it. Some of us were astounded. They have... Anthony Joshua has just now triggered the rematch clause. What is your take on this? Is he prepared? Should he re-strategize? What should he add to his game in order not to be outfoxed, by Alexander Usyk?
Well, to be honest, Ken, Alexander Usyk is one of the most phenomenal fighters I have ever seen in my life. He first came to my attention in 2017 when he went about winning the World Boxing Super Series. A man who traveled into the backyards of fearsome opponents and beat them easily. I once saw him throw almost 1,000 punches in a single fight. That is a tremendous amount of work coming to you. So I always knew that this man was going to be a problem if he moved up into the heavyweight division. And he proved so. He becomes only the 3rd cruiserweight in history to have been undefeated, to have held the title and have won a heavyweight title as well. That's a lot of doing against a man who is as experienced and as accomplished as Anthony Joshua. And Joshua believes that he can still regain his title. I used an analogy for someone the other day that, sometimes some people need more than one attempt to solve a single problem. That's why you see in the IELTS exam that everybody seems to be taking now in order to migrate abroad, you hear people taking that exam multiple times, 2 times, 3 times, even 10 times in order to be able to pass that exam. Anthony Joshua has shown now that he probably needs more than one attempt at certain problems in order to solve them. He needed 2 attempts against Andy Ruiz Jr. Now he's needing 2 attempts against Alexander Usyk. But I think Usyk has completely shown him up. Joshua's game plan going into that fight was absolutely terrible, was abysmal, and was completely overwhelmed. And I think he has to make some really, really hard decisions now. And it's going to be a very unpopular decision. I honestly think that he might have to fire his long-time coach, Rob McCracken. Rob McCracken is a great coach, don't get me wrong. He's done really well for Anthony Joshua, taking him from the amateurs to the Olympic gold and also to heavyweight titles. But I think at this level, Anthony Joshua, with all the attributes that he has, should be fighting a more progressive, aggressive kind of fight. I mean, this is a man who I once saw pick up the rear end of a van, a minivan, in order for a child to pick up a ball from underneath. It was not publicity stunt. It shows you the tremendous power that this man has. But in 12 rounds, in 12 rounds of boxing, he could not land that punch conclusively once. And Joshua, with the kind of power he has, all he needs is one clean shot, and he can probably cave in your cranium. But he didn't do that. So you now begin to wonder, what exactly was he doing in training camp throughout almost the last 1 year? It was an abysmal display by Anthony Joshua. He needs something very clear. He needs something different, and he might need to go the same way that Tyson Fury did. You see, Tyson Fury, he changed his trainer, his long-term trainer, after the first draw. After the first draw with Deontay Wilder, he moved to Sugar Hill Stewart. Sugar Hill Stewart has now masterminded 2 complete defenestrations of the baddest man on the planet, conclusive, concussive displays that nobody can argue with. And I think that is what Anthony Joshua needs. For a man his size, 6'7", with his reach, with his power, he should be blowing away people. But when you're fighting a tentative, safety-first kind of fight against heavyweights that you're the favorite to knock out, it shows that something is really wrong with your game plan, something is really wrong with your backroom staff, and you need a new direction. And he might need to fire Rob McCracken and go for an American coach. I'm thinking probably Virgil Hunter. A lot of people might not remember him, but he's also the current coach of Joshua Buatsi. He's a very good American coach who likes that aggressive front foot kind of style, the kind of style that Tyson Fury employed against Deontay Wilder. That is what Anthony Joshua might need. It's very unpopular, but if he wants to regain his heavyweight titles, if he wants to become undisputed heavyweight champion, it's something that he has to look very closely at.
Okay, let us end this briefly because we can't end it without looking at both sides. Are you seeing, after the trilogy, are you seeing part 4 or that fight has been concluded? And then if AJ regains that title against Usyk, are you seeing a trilogy also in this particular fight?
After the kind of beating that you receive, it will be suicide. It will be suicide for Deontay Wilder to want to step into the ring against Tyson Fury again. That man, he was lucky to walk away with his life. I'm dead serious. He was lucky to walk away with his life. At this level of boxing, it's very, very serious business, very, very dangerous business. Just one well-placed punch can put you in a hospital for a long time. And I think that Deontay Wilder was lucky to walk away with his life. If he has a death wish, he can sign up for a 4th one, but I don't think it's a fight anybody wants to see. Some people argue that Fury won all 3 fights, but it's clear that he definitely won 2 out of 3, so there's no argument about that. So there's not going to be a 4th installment. I know you're thinking of possibly that kind of contest between Manny Pacquiao and Juan Manuel Marquez.
Yeah.
4 installments, but that was a completely different fight. That was a completely different scenario. Those 2 men could not be separated, but this one has been conclusively and clearly separated. Tyson Fury is lineal WBC Ring Magazine heavyweight champion. As for Anthony Joshua, he's contracted to fight Alexander Usyk. He will have to do that if he wins. If he wins, it's not a given. I mean, given his last display, if he wins, then he will seek for that unification to be the one and only. But for Tyson Fury, WBC has mandated that he must make his first title defense against the winner of the fight and Ballon that is coming up at the end of this month. So he will be also defending his title, most likely early next year. I'm thinking probably April or June. I can't tell right now until that fight between Ballon and White is done. But for Anthony Joshua, he has bigger problems, and that problem is Alexander Usyk. He has to find a way to figure that out now before I can think of any kind of, unification of the division.
Thank you very much, today. It's been a pleasure. And we'll call you again.
Thank you.
As these fights are going, when we call you, we'll get your take before the fight, not after. Thank you very much, today.
Very much.
Yeah.
Mark Breland.
Yes.
threw in the towel in the second fight.
Yeah.
In what many experts regarded as sound judgment and an act of mercy when he saw what Fury was doing to Wilder. But Wilder had promised to banish anybody who surrendered on his behalf.
So that was
why he sent away McBrelland and got him Scott Malik.
Malik Scott.
But as he paid off, I think the result has a different answer to that.
All right. Has it paid off? We'll go on a short break. When we come back, of course, you will join the discussion. It is China Sport on Sunday. You stay with us. All right, you're welcome back. Okpe has just joined us. Okpe, you welcome to the show.
Thanks, Ken, for having me. And as you said, this is a new area for the Magpies, and hopefully, Jose Mourinho will be on board.
See,
you're looking for
the name that are being considered, I have not seen
a lot of names that are being considered are not available.
No, the ultimate, over the years, Newcastle is a team that has been spending more on managers rather than players. But now they have the tool to spend on players and manager. And as I said, Jose was supposed to take over from Sir Bobby Robson. But he said the new Robson will never hand over as at the agreed time. So he went to Porto.
You see, I know sometimes some people are writing their CV where their shop assistant, they will put managerial trainee. See, Jose was a pupil of Robson.
Interpreter.
He was his interpreter, and he was using him as he started his coaching, taking his bite under him. They were in Barcelona together. They were, I think, in sporting together.
They moved from Sporting
to Barcelona. That's what I'm saying, to Barcelona. So it was when he was leaving Barcelona, when he left Barcelona, and then he now got the Newcastle job. And I said, why don't you follow me also? I know you are interested. So when I leave, when I retire, you can take over. And like you said, Moses said, I know this guy would rather die than retire. So that's why they parted ways. But since then, Mourinho has moved this way, gone to the plateau, and
Ken, life itself is sinusoidal. But whichever way you want
this
to
is
look
not sinusoidal. This is just one. This is the valley. The guy is moving from Real Madrid to Chelsea to Manchester United to Tottenham.
The last team he handled, which before getting the Roma job, before Tottenham and Roma. He was still the last coach that got any major trophy for Manchester United.
That was in his first year. He coached for 3 years. What happened the other 2 years?
And what has happened since then?
Let's go to London. Let's go and meet a real Newcastle fan, not the ones in Lagos who are tormenting my life. Oba, how are you?
Right.
How are you, Oba?
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
I know your mind is sugar plantation now. You guys, the last time we spoke, this deal was supposed to go through, and something happened, and then it was scuttled. And right now, it has gone through. What is the how do I say it? What is the atmosphere like in Newcastle? Of course, we saw the celebration. We saw as if it was Christmas. But genuinely, tell us what is going on in your mind. How you guys are feeling.
Well, before I answer your question, let me address what Olumide first. Is it Olu or Olumide first said? First and foremost, we used to buy players until the Mike Ashley era.
Yeah.
We are not just changing managers. We used to buy players. And the case in point was Alan Shearer, Michael Owen, and even our own Obafemi Martins, who were supposedly the most expensive players at the time. So, but better days are ahead now. We can all smile. The mood is great. I told my wife, because normally I only have rice twice a week, and she was on that regime there. And I told her, I said, please, there's a likelihood that Newcastle takeover may go through. Today, I want to break that rule. I'm going to eat jollof rice and celebrate the taking over, because we've been through 14 years of harrowing neglect, despair. And I can tell you the mood is so great. Most of the Newcastle fans are still celebrating up till this morning. And we do have Newcastle supporters in Nigeria, even though we're not that many.
We have them here. We have them here, even on this set.
Yeah, and I'm employing the disgruntled members of the other supposedly top teams, because we're now on the same page now, not to pot or not to jump ship. Let them stick to their tems. We don't need new members. If you've been up to about the years of 20, there's the chances that you've been supporting one of the top 4 teams. So please stick with your team, particularly Arsenal fans.
Okay, can you give us a peep? What is like? Who are the owners of Newcastle United? We're talking about how much they are worth, what they do, and stuff like that. Can you give us? Do you have any figures, any info? What you know? What? Let us see what clout that they have that they are bringing in.
Right. There are 3 owners, and it's led by Amanda Stavely. What a wonderful lady. She was first seen at the Newcastle Stadium in 2017 in the game between Liverpool and Newcastle. There were rumors that the team she actually wanted was Liverpool. But as soon as she saw Newcastle, she fell in love with the stadium, with the atmosphere, and she began at the talks to take over Newcastle. Now, she couldn't do it alone on her own at the time, and the initial bid which she put through was botched. So she went back, and by the way, Amanda Stavely is she has a financial firm called PCP Capital. So basically what they do is that they serve as a vehicle for investment for Middle Easterners who want to invest So she provides some sort of advice to them. And the other owners are James Reuben, who is one of the sons of the Reuben brothers, David Reuben to be precise. And they do invest in real estate and development. And currently, the Reuben brothers they've already, even before the takeover, they started development in Newcastle area. So you can imagine now being part of the ownership of the Newcastle. The redevelopment and the regeneration is going to be massive. And of course, the elephant in the room, the PIF, that's the Public Investment Fund, which is chaired by His Highness bin Salim. However, it is managed by Yasser Al-Rumayyan, who is the governor of PFI. As you probably know, Saudi Arabia have got one of the largest deposits of oil. And as you probably know as well, Nigeria too produces oil. But we know that the oil market is gradually being phased off. And due to the fact that people are using alternative means aside of petrol, or electric cars and stuff like that. So the petrol and the Public Investment Fund is set up to sort of help diversify the income of the Saudi Arabians in different things, invest in different organizations, of which Newcastle happens to be one of them. Okay. And talking about the wealth of PIF, I can speak of the PIF specifically. We are talking about the wealth of it's almost about 320 million pounds. Billion pounds, sorry. Yeah, billion pounds.
Okay, now, don't scare us now. I don't. You see, you are scaring people.
Let's put it in perspective. Manchester City, before that takeover, were owned by the richest owners, and they're worth 24 billion pounds. Now, match that to 320 billion pounds. I leave you to do the math.
We won't do it because you see, because even if we multiply by 10, we are still in 240. We still have we still have extra 100 to go. So we let them calm down. So, some people are happy here on this set, and I hope nobody will oppress me from now on. And you too, I will call you. But then we just gathered that this morning. the other 19 clubs in the EPL said they want to meet with the FA, and that they are not comfortable with this with this. What might be their grounds?
To be honest, there's no grounds. There's no legal grounds. I think the only grounds is the fact that they're scared that another team is coming to challenge them. And we are to be precise, we're talking about the top 6, or the supposedly what I call them the secret cows, the top 6 teams, who not too long ago, I'm sure you were aware of it, wanted to break away to form a Super League, but that's a story for another day. So, and one of the main chief agitators is Daniel Levy of Tottenham. And the same Daniel Levy had once upon a time offered Tottenham to the Saudis to buy off. And I can tell you another reason why they are scared as well too. According to Kieran Maguire, is a sports finance. Is an expert when it comes to football finance. Over the week of the transfer already, or the takeover, Manchester United share price fell by about 2.5%, knocking off 65 million of the value of the company. And that's as a result of the fact that now we no longer have the top 6 challenging for the top 4, or the Champions League, but now there's another new team in the conversation, and that's Newcastle. And not to talk about Leicester City, Everton are in the conversation. So you can see the reason for their agitation. But to be honest, the meeting is just an exercise in futility, as the deal has been done and dusted, it's been signed, so it won't really have any impact. They are only just reacting. Quite unfortunate for them. Things happen pretty fast. Just slightly over a week before the takeover, we were involved in a anti-competition case tribunal, which was viewed to all Newcastle fans, or fans all over the world, to watch. And we were all waiting for, because the Premier League wanted the arbitration thrown out, since they already have their own in-house arbitration. So we're still waiting for the result of that, which we didn't even know when it was going to happen. But by Wednesday, stories started coming around that BN Sports is going to be, that's one of the biggest TV stations, which is owned by the Qataris, and they cover the Middle East and the North Africa area for when it comes to Premier League viewing or viewership. I'm sure you probably know there has been a diplomatic row between Saudi Arabia and Qatar. In any case, the dispute was resolved, and BN Sport was going to be reinstated, or they were going to be viewed back in Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia, the authorities have promised to oversee and ensure that all the pirate stations are brought down. Now, within 24 hours, the Newcastle takeover started making the round. So that just goes to tell us that that was really the sticking point.
Okay, I want to say thank you. Go and enjoy your Sunday. The jollof rice, I hope you can, how do you get it to us, so that we can also have the, have the taste of what it is like to some Newcastle fans. Maybe they will give us, the ones in Nigeria will take us to eat Lagos jollof. Probably you send your own London jollof to us. Thank you, Oba. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Okay. Sorry, I know he's your guy. You would have even thrown some questions to him, but you already outnumbered us here on the set. You are happy?
No, Ken, obviously. And I think he was talking about what they saw. Newcastle is one, take top three of the most supported club in England.
Exactly.
They were in Division 2 twice and came back immediately. While in Division 2, the fan base was still like third in the whole of England. So I think they've got the fans. Now we have the money. So I think the trophy should start rolling in.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely. And you saw what happened to Chelsea when Roman Abramovich took over. in 2004. We saw what happened to Manchester City.
Leicester City.
Noisy neighbor. We saw what happened to
even Leicester.
Leicester.
Exactly. When Leicester were moving from League One back to the Championship, they were paying them the salary of their player. They were earning more than players in the Premiership. Yeah. They went for Sven-Göran Eriksson. They went for the big names.
So you see, you cannot how do I put it? Take away the place of money in modern day sports, and it is what it is. We expect them to be title contenders in the next couple of years.
Money, money, money. There's the money. There's the rich man's world. Another rich man has just come to Newcastle. The lines will be open. You join us. Super Eagles are playing today. Are you seeing them overcoming Central African Republic?
The loss to the Central African Republic at Tyson Balogun Stadium, it's really a pain in the heart, not just for myself. I know for a lot of Super Eagles followers and people who have followed Nigerian sport over the years. I know that a lot is wrong beneath the surface. People have been calling for Raw to be sacked. NFF have come to douse tension a bit by saying, oh, they take blame for that particular defeat. But I think beyond that, we need to really look inward and really discussing the Nigerian football. Bores me, Steve, these days, because I don't know, we've been saying the same thing over and over, and nothing seems to change. So I'm hoping, as a Nigerian, that they will at least get a result, because nothing short of 3 points would at least assuage Nigerian fans.
Okay, let's go to Sapele. Let's go to Sapele. Hello. Okay, I think we lost the caller. We lost the call. We expect the caller to call back. He's still alive, so we've not lost him. We lost the call. Yemi, I don't know. You saw the match. We've seen this, like he's talking about looking inwards. We saw England, like we said, go for Sven-Göran Eriksson. We saw them go for Fabio Capello. And we saw England come back and say, look, what are we actually looking out there? Have you seen much difference since we have a foreign coach? The impact different from when the Keshis, the Siasias, the Ulysses were coaching the team, even the time that Onegbeni was there?
Ken, after the match against Argentina in Russia, it was just obvious because people have said, and it's becoming more like a cliche, that that was the worst Argentine team in recent times. And I think from that match, it was just let Raw any salary, nothing extra can. The Eagles will just be Eagles, but not super.
All right, let's take the call. Hello.
Yeah, hello. This is Owolape.
Oh, how are you?
Oh, fine. Thank you very much. Number one, about the Super Eagles match today.
Yeah.
It must be win. We know that one. And I want to let you know that the salary of Raul Saul, I mean, what the name of the coach of the CR.
Yeah,
if you know the amount of the money that is collected to come here to come and beat General, that coach. I want to ask you people, if it's happened to Eguavo played a friendly match against Ghana, NFF just sacked the guy. If it happened to a Nigerian coach, immediately I believe the Nigerian Football Federation, they will sack that coach. And please, tell me how much, is it not 24,000 pounds or something like that? A coach that is only have pattern for 5 years. Tell me the pattern of Nigerian coach today that is playing. I want the sport journalists in this country to tell me the pattern. And the Nigerian Football Federation has looking this coach for 5 years. In fact, we still have a long way to go in this country.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let's hope we win today, because if we don't, it will become difficult, in our qualification. for the World Cup.
Exactly. If you are struggling against Central African Republic, what will you do when you play the likes of Senegal, when you play Algeria or Morocco? So I don't think we're ready to start pressing calculator again and start these are.
No, the thing is, should we lose today? Should we lose today? The qualification is no longer in our hands. But I know we will not lose today. We will not draw point today. The first leg, I thought we would just get a draw, but I never knew we were going to win. But I knew we're not. I never knew we were going to lose, but I knew we were never going to win. So I was expecting a draw. Then we'll go there and pick a win. So I still stick with that win.
This one is we are playing in
Yaoundé, neutral ground.
It's on a neutral ground. The match was won away. It was those guys. I mean, of course, a goal is a goal. But for now, it was an error on a back pass from their own side. I put into
no. I won't accept that. Okay, with the other one because their goal was they've attempted that thing like 3 or 4 times for that goal. They were just lifting the ball over our midfield. Yes. They've done it like 4 times. So that their goal was a well worked out goal.
No, I'm even talking about our match against Cape Verde when we won away. All right, we have a Taiwo. Hello, T.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, my name is Taiwo from Abuja.
All right, Taiwo, how are you?
I'm fine. I just want to greet you people for the good work we are doing.
Thank you.
I'm very happy for the good Super Eagle.
Yeah. Go on, Taiwo, Super Eagles. Oh, no. All right, thank you. Thanking us, Taiwo. We expect that they will do something better than what they've been going on. Okay, while we are at it, we are still taking your calls, and we're still looking at the Super Eagles there. Let me ask you, who was in the absence of Ndidi and a table in the middle, that they were supposed to be the mainstay of the team in terms of look like the brain box, and they were not there. Iwobi also was out there, which is also part of the midfield. Did that in any way affect the functionality, the fluidity of this particular team?
Ken, I don't subscribe to such arrogance view, because this is a Super Eagles of Nigeria. It's not even a club side. So the net should go wide and get these players.
Okay, let's take our next caller, Celestine. Hello. Okay, we should go on another break. So we are going on a break, and when we'll come back, Channel Sport on Sunday continue. Stay with us. All right, you're welcome back. It is the Channel Sport on Sunday. And then we are moving towards the end of the show, because this is the last part. The lines are still open. Jimmy has just joined us. Jimmy, like we're saying, if we can take some of those results of the teams that happened, that is during the week, Ethiopia.
Yeah.
Let's
lost
see if we can take those African results.
South Africa.
Yeah.
Guinea played out a 2-2 draw with Sudan. Ghana defeated Zimbabwe 3-1, and Congo played out a 1-1 draw at Togo's stadium. Senegal defeated Namibia 4-1, comprehensive you want to say, and Morocco lost 0-3 at Guinea-Bissau.
We can see
Ken, all our potential opponents,
yes,
eventually will qualify for the last final qualifying round. They were all scoring like 3 goals. We are talking about South Africa, talking about Ghana, talking about Senegal, Morocco. So then for today, we'll be in Yaoundé against South African Republic. Our other group opponent, Liberia, travels to Cape Verde. Benin hosts Tanzania.
Okay.
Mali in Kenya. Uganda, Rwanda. DR Congo takes on Madagascar. Zambia hosts Equatorial Guinea, and Tunisia travels to Mauritania.
Okay, let's go to Sapele, because Ruben is waiting for us. Hello, Ruben.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ken. And
good afternoon, Ruben. How are you?
Wise man in the studio.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Ken, I didn't watch the Nigeria match, but
okay.
Thank God I just had only the results.
Why? Why are you thanking God?
The disappointment was not too much. You see, I want to ask a question. I want you guys to help me in the studio to answer that question. Is it that we cannot fire the coach? Is it because of the money or the clause in his contract? Or what is it? Like somebody called earlier said that we do not have a pattern. I have grown. I have been watching the Super Eagles for long. When we play a game, we either play from the flanks. We have a pattern of football. We don't give excuse of maybe Finidi did not play or Kocha did not play. That is why the game was somehow or something.
Yeah.
Now we are coming up with an excuse of because of Alex Iwobi or because of Wilfred Ndidi. For crying out loud, we have other players that can feel their shoes in that team and will still play better football. I just hope by 2 o'clock, when we play the return leg, the story will be different. Anyhow, let's just manage to qualify and let NFF do the needful. If it's to borrow money and pay the coach to go, let us borrow the money and let us get another coach before the World Cup.
Ruben, at a point, the coach was being owed an 8 months salary. I let maybe they've paid 5 months or 4 months, and then we were trying to pay the other one. The man has, it was even having difficult to, go and source for dollar and send money to his family outside Nigeria. And you are talking about paying. Do you know what is in that clause? Yeah, I think we touched that clause sometime ago.
At the end of the day,
I think
Ruben is long.
So, Ruben, that is the issue. So, but
Ruben, if you have enough to pay somebody off, why not even pay salaries? Because we also need to be fair to Gerard. I don't understand how a national team manager should be even owed for 8 months. And we are talking about paying a Centurion player 10 million for reaching 100 caps. So I think the more we prioritize our spending, or the administrator prioritize our spending, the better. We talked about the appropriation to Nigerian Football Federation, about 1.2 billion naira from Nigerian government aside the sponsors, and you have the recurrent expenditure heading. So why is the national team manager being owed when other members of staff in NFF, they are not owed? So I think it's unthinkable and it's condemnable owing the national team manager for as long as 8 months.
I think the financial implications are things that we ordinarily should consider. If you say, like Okwe has said, you are finding it difficult to pay, and you've talked about self-sufficiency for so long. At this point in time, the basics should be what we should be clamoring for. What are the basics? What exactly will make for what you are looking out for when you want to hire another coach? Because if you don't understand why you are rejecting this coach, then you may never get it right, even when you employ another coach. So let's begin to ask those questions, the niggling questions where we begin to understand there is no football philosophy. If we have to take Nigerian football down and rebuild again, it's always better for us because our domestic football is not working. You look at it, it's a pure waste of resources for you to take home-based players out of the equation, bring in foreign-based, and get them to lose at home. It's totally condemnable. Let's say it like the way it's supposed to be said.
I understand you because
Aqua United players would not lose against CAR. I tell you.
Yeah.
Because the synergy would have been there.
Yes, understanding, like you said, the synergy would have been
Nigeria.
There. Well, what we are saying is we had the home advantage. We couldn't make use of it.
Because
and our boys played like journeymen on the field. It's simple. Let's say
the last time we lost the World Cup qualifier to 1981.
1981. Yes. That was 40 years ago. 40 years ago.
Against a Nigerian team that went to the World Cup to represent, do African proud. Because they were exceptional in Span 82.
Okay, let's take our next caller. Hello, Barney. Bassi, how are you?
Fine. Good afternoon, Channel.
Good afternoon, Bassi. Go on. Go on, Bassi, go on.
My issue is the match. They didn't play well. Then the coach, I will forgive him for a while. So maybe I'll use that one as the excuse for him. But my problem is, why did they go and celebrate they are losing? For them, I think they hosted them somewhere.
Well, that is hosting and all that. Like we said, I think basically what we expect of the team the basic that we expect is go to go onto the pitch and win a match. It's as simple as that. I don't know.
90 minutes.
I mean, any other thing is just a bonus. That is the primary reason why he was employed as a coach. I don't know if there is any other thing. Select 11 players, put them on the pitch, and win.
It was like you send your child to a school for a whole term, and he came back with a failure, and now you took him to a particular place and buy chicken and buy drink for him to start drinking and celebrating the failure of his examination. So I was so disappointed on that. They would have used that money to pay that coach.
Okay, I agree with you. But Razzmatazz is part of it. That is what they say they want to market.
That's my point. The coach has not been paid for like 8 months, and you wasted the whole of the money there. So you're just wasting the money. At the end of the day, they will still go and play today, and they don't want to wound yourself. Why not use our own Nigerian players here that they are eager to play and do well and be exposed than those ones that have a good clubs, playing and enjoying themselves there. Then they are playing now don't get in that they should don't want to and leave them alone and use our own voice. That's what I was talking about. This same coach some weeks ago that we're playing Mexico, that he says Nigerian boys home here can win that Mexico team because they are local players here.
Yeah,
and tell me, since then from till today, they have not won any match. These professionals that we call him, that was why I called for the sack of that coach then. But I will still forgive him for now because he has not been paid for a while. So maybe it's because of that one. He didn't have a good motivation for that. But please, I beg you people, maybe they are hearing you people and they are hearing my voice. If he loses today, please let him pack his back because they have paid him 5 months already. So he should use that one and travel back to his country.
All right, thank you, Basi. Thank you, Basi. We're talking about the list. Let us see, because the list of players who have just been shortlisted for the Ballon d'Or. One day our own name, our Nigerian name will be there. We have 30 now.
He won Serie A Player of the Year. Of the month.
So
I think we are coming.
All right, those are
Aspilicueta, Barella, Benzema, Bonucci, Chiellini, De Bruyne, Diaz, Donnarumma, Fernandes, Foden, Alan, Jorginho, Kane, Kante, Lewandowski, Lukaku, Mahrez, Martinez, Mbappe, Messi, Modric, Moreno, Mount, Neymar, Pedri, Ronaldo, Salah, Sterling, Suarez.
Okay. Those are the 13 names, and from here, the 2021 Ballon d'Or winner, the best player, as chosen by France Football, will be announced after the journalists and people have voted to pick who will be the number one. Right now, it is Messi on 6, while Ronaldo is on 5. Okay. All right, we have John on the line. Hello, John. John, how are you?
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for the work well done. I really appreciate you and the work you people are doing there.
Thank you, John.
Actually, I've been trying to, come in, and I really thank the 2 people that have called earlier. It's the same, please. Let's just say it as it is, please. The general is not fit for that job, please. Please. I want you, the sportsmen and the journalists, to really hammer on this. And if there's anything we can do so that the people in charge can really, hear our voice. This guy doesn't have the, he doesn't have the technical know-how to handle all this raw material, which are these, super, players that we have. We can't put them together, please. I'm sorry. I know, with due respect to him, he really loves this country, okay? But he doesn't have that capacity. He doesn't have that technical know-how to really, give us the result. Since we lost to, he was the same guy that made us to lose to South Africa here sometimes ago. They beat us there 2-0. Since then, I look at this guy that this man, he has the love of this country, but he's not capable. Please, I'm begging you people to really tell the people in authority, this guy should just be sacked. Whether we win today or not, I'm not after whether we win or not. He doesn't have the capacity. Olisa is there, Kennedy is there, any of our, home group, coaches, they should handle our life. We should forget about bringing all these foreign people. I know. We all know the corruption in Nigerian system. Okay, maybe they might have had one person or not. Please, what I'm saying is that indigenous schools, like maybe Finidi, Olise, and this guy, there's one guy also, I can't remember his name. We should just make use of our own coach, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, John.
Ken, Stephen Keshi won the Nations Cup with 17 rookies.
Yeah.
It's instructive to note Because at the end of the day, like Okwe and I and yourself, we have always said, we haven't seen anything major coming from Raw to suggest that he should continue in the saddle. But unfortunately, there is little that we can say, else it will look like, oh, you guys are not being, you are only being critical of Raw, maybe you don't want him to blah, blah, blah. But the truth is, let's look at it the way it's supposed to be looked at. Losing at home is not the benchmark. We have said there is no football philosophy that we see. There's no noticeable pattern, no visible pattern that we use to play our games. The question is, when exactly are we going to notice anything that would assure us that our Super Eagles will once again dominate on the continent? We're not asking to dominate on the global front.
Why can't we are
not ourselves number 5 and say we are not looking to crack into that.
No. Exactly. You are right now number 5 on the continent, and the level of play is not necessarily representative.
Jimmy, what Okpe is saying is this: we were number 5 in 1994. So if we were number 5 in 1994, top 10 in the world.
Crawl before you walk. Right now, our football is in the doldrums.
We were running then. We're not even. We were running in 94.
Well, Ken, I think it's not a good thing that you have a national team manager that does.
Who do we have on the one?
Danjuma from Plateau.
Hello, DJ. How are you?
I'm fine, sir.
Yeah.
How are you today?
Very fine, Danjuma. Very fine.
So I want to contribute in the area of the management and the coach. They are the same.
Okay.
Because the coach, we have people like Olise in Nigeria that can help us to do better. But because of the corruption in the sport, let this man play what he wants to do. If you look at what happened last 2 years ago, when we went to play the white people, you will discover that he will select the player that cannot do well, so that at least he will help his people. So I see no reason why we in Nigeria we cannot produce a coach. We have better people like Oluse that can do it more and more for us. If you look at what happened last week in Lagos, it's a disgrace to us. We are playing home and they are scoring us. It's a serious disgrace and serious slap.
That is Lagos for you.
So that's my own point of view. So I want them to help us.
All right. Thank you very much. We pray we win today. We hope. Somebody said we are always praying, but we don't. What else can we do? We just hope and pray. And
either we pray or we take the calculator.
Okay. We hope and pray. Like you said, I don't see us losing today.
No, we win today, Ken. We win. I knew we're not going to win on at home, but I never knew we were going to lose. I thought it would be a draw, and that would ginger us for today.
But you didn't tell us.
I was not here last week.
Okay, you would have called.
I actually felt we were going to win.
No,
right now I don't. I'm not so sure we could win. I'm not 100%
sure we were going to win.
No, I knew the result will energize the guys against today's match, because today is a make or man match. Lose today, the qualification is out of our hand, because they are on 4, we are on 6. Should they win today, they go on 7 and will remain on 6. So the Eagles will win today, will go on 9 and will still be on 4.
We played a team that is ranked 120,
124,
like 90 places between us.
Yeah. And that is why we are going to win today. Because again, because he was talking about where I always fought. He was talking about people. Moria will say, "Tell me about players who are listed, not players who are not
exactly
on the list."
Exactly.
Now, there was no synergy between when Awoni came in and Osimhen. He was not talking about that. And he was talking about players who were not present for the game. The players who were present for the game, what was their output? Let us know as the technical manager. Nothing coming from me.
Okay, we are rounding up.
No surprises. Tyson Fury desecrating the order, because right now we can see that Tyson Fury is the biggest, the best heavyweight in the world.
In WBC.
Not WBC. He's the best entertainer. Ken, I was so entertained that I had tears of joy in my heart. In my eyes. I was very delighted.
I don't know. I thought we'll give you guys also the the updates on the Turkish Grand Prix, but we couldn't have it. It's already on.
Yeah.
It's on by now. So let's because that is neck to neck, 2 points separating them. But we'll do that next week, and probably when we come back, as is always, Nigeria Super Eagles today. You have two options. Eagles have two options today. You either win,
they are super,
or you win.
They stay super.
And Ken Ochonogo, have a blessed Sunday.